Ready? Welcome, everybody, to Blissfully Aware, the show in which three opinionated people discuss what's going on in nerd news and fandom in general. I forgot how we start this show.
It's just like that, except backwards. But yes.
It's been a minute, y'all. I should welcome you two. Hi, welcome to my lovely co-hosts, Kelty and Kendra.
Hello, everyone.
We're back.
Mm-hmm.
We lived, bitch.
More or less.
I mean, yeah, in the strictest technical definition. Yeah. Because it's been over a year, I think.
God, when was our last episode?
Let me go confirm, but I'm pretty sure it was summer of last year. So, like, 7 months.
7 months. That's a long-ass time, though.
It feels like a year.
It's a year post-pandemic time.
Yeah. So hi, everybody. Did you miss us? I know some of you did. We've gotten some comments.
Oh, that's nice.
I see you.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
I've been storing up my loudmouth opinions, so I have them all ready to go in the chamber.
I have been working my ass off the last, 7 months, and was unable to ever schedule any recordings at any point in time. So it's all my fault, actually, that we were off the air. But I quit my shitty job. So, free.
Back again. So yeah, there's a lot of things we've missed.
Mm-hmm. Blissfully.
We may go back.
I mean, I didn't even mean for that. Oh, but it was a pun. Oh, yeah.
Cut out the part where she didn't mean it. She totally did.
No, I did not. But I think the biggest change is that I'm no longer on Twitter, which is just such a relief.
Mm-hmm.
It does things for your brain.
It does, and Twitter's not real. It doesn't matter. Like, less than 1% of the American population uses Twitter, and it's lower for other nations, including mine. And it just really, when you stop using it, and you don't have that noise in your head, really drives home how much Twitter is just the insane ramblings of, the same 6 psychopaths trying to impose their own weird moral panic on others in disguise of, wokeness and liberalism and, championing rights for, the discriminated and the downtrodden. And it's just so fucking not that. It's just a social in-group like any other that has social hierarchy and etiquette that you have to adhere to or you'll be ostracized, and
etiquette.
Well, I mean etiquette in the idea that you must act a certain way around the group or they'll ostracize you. But fuck that, because they're all psychopaths, and I don't have the fucking time or resources to devote to that sort of social group.
Yeah, I've cut a lot of it out of my life, too. Mostly I'm just on it every once in a while to, like some of your tweets, and then I go away again.
Yeah, I am still on Twitter the normal amount that I was before. So there may be a change in how we get some of our fandom news, and we may be relying on y'all to bring some to our attention. Please and thank you. But that doesn't mean the show shan't go on. Not everything happens on Twitter.
No, that's... Again,
in fact, most things don't.
The biggest lesson is that, again, when you're not hearing the same reheated garbage takes from the same 20 or so super chronically online morons, you realize how much doesn't happen on Twitter, and how much the stuff that does happen on Twitter actually doesn't matter to anyone.
Like at all.
Like at all. It's a good readjusting of your perception and the amount that you weigh certain streams of data against others.
Mm-hmm.
That sounded real pretentious, but...
It's all just the same, like she said, the same 12 sociopaths, but,
chronically online.
They also, never go outside and don't do anything with their lives.
Those are the only people who are on Twitter that much, is people who aren't doing anything else.
Well, and so, you'd think when you're on Twitter, you're like, these people are harmful to society because they're saying harmful shit.
They're
but
saying utterly deranged nonsense.
they don't go outside and talk to human beings, so they're not actually harmful at all.
And if they do, they are, like, ignored.
Yeah,
They're like, okay, yeah, great, fantastic. Like,
they're the weirdos on the subway that everybody avoids.
Well, you've missed out on some hot takes, like the rise of incest in our society due to it being featured on Rick and Morty and House of the Dragon coming out this summer.
Because it's on Rick and Morty.
Okay. Sure.
So, you know,
Super glad to have missed
be
that,
on the
actually.
lookout.
Like, really glad that I didn't have to spend an evening talking about that.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Yep.
Let's at least hear all the bad takes.
Oh god, I mean, there's no way I could sit and list them all. We'd have to catch up on everything that we've missed.
That's the thing also, is that, like, Twitter, the half-life of a Twitter discourse is getting shorter and shorter.
Yeah.
So, like, things are only relevant for the, like, 4 hours that they're relevant, and everyone's on to the next outrage.
Well, it's like, that kid from Heartstoppers is in the new Harry Potter game, and people were mad for, like, half a day. But, like, big mad.
I don't know what Heartstoppers is.
Heartstoppers is that Netflix queer romance that's, like, soft,
Oh!
and it's the good kind of
Yeah.
game.
Because they don't touch.
Yes, because it's chaste. Yes.
Yeah.
No, yes, I do remember that.
Gay
And one of
only
those-
in label.
One of those actors is in the new Harry Potter game.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Okay, and they're mad because they don't like J.K. Rowling.
Right.
There, man, boom, I've done the whole discourse right there. Okay.
It was big mad for half a day and then on to the next one.
Did they, like, horribly harass this underage actor?
Oh, until he apologized.
Yeah, of course.
yeah.
Yeah. Of course.
Outstanding!
Yeah.
Oh, outstanding. Yeah, how dare that poor kid need money.
Signing a contract 3 years ago
Mm-hmm.
before, like,
Before the worst,
those
like,
sort of problems were brought to his attention, you know?
amazing. So, yes, so we have harassed another underage queer performer.
Who was closeted. They did bully him out of the closet.
Oh, even better.
I think that was the other one.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
That was a different actor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we just have to
Heartstoppers,
terrorize
yeah.
all these actors.
Yep.
But we did bully one kid out of the closet because he was, queer baiting us.
Because he was playing gay, and
Yeah.
a straight actor
his-
playing gay is queer baiting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, got it.
Because I do remember there was some discourse of people equating like murderers, like gay bash murderers of queer baiting because they would pretend to be gay on Grindr to lure people to their
yeah.
house.
What the
And
fuck
murder
are
them?
you talking about?
So,
They called that queer baiting.
Luring men to their grisly death
yeah, that's queer
on
baiting.
the pretense that there would be gay sex is queer baiting.
Yep.
Yep.
That's the exact same thing as playing gay in a movie.
Whoa! You see why it's just not worth it to devote any amount of attention to this awful, awful place.
I'm pretty
full of
sure that was my
terrible,
last, like,
terrible people.
I'm pretty sure that was like my last full day on Twitter too. Like I was on.
Awful people who think they're genius is the thing that I can't stand. Who think they're super insightful and have, like, just the lens through which to view this hot take that no one else has, and once everyone hears their fucking genius insight, they're gonna fix society or whatever, and I can't fucking stand it. Oh my god.
I can because I grew up with that whole attitude of being like, well, the liberals told me to question authorities, so I questioned the liberals.
I don't know why you would want to spend one goddamn minute around people like that after that being, like, your home life.
Trauma bonding.
Okay. I don't get it.
Well, yes.
Let's see, what else did we miss? these little terminally online kids are still harassing people at conventions, so that's fun.
Always, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. They stalked friend of the show, Luna Soul, at another convention.
They're still doing that,
Still, wow.
Like, grow up!
What else big happened?
I mean, there was more of the same, like,
There was something else.
you know, AO3 is bad, actually, but
yeah.
that never lasts. There was Anna Mardal.
Oh, yeah!
Oh.
There was,
Oh.
well-known Twitter scold, turns out is a nepotism hire at Lockheed Martin.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
That was a fucking doozy. And, like, I don't know. They were, let's say, unsympathetic to Isabel Fall during the whole, I sexually identify as an attack helicopter story fallout. In an irony almost too good to be real, they were personally very upset about the story by a trans woman that examines queerness and gender identity through the lens of the military-industrial complex and ponders a future wherein queer ideology and identity can be subsumed by the military-industrial complex. If you wrote that
I was gonna say.
in a movie or in a book, I'd be like, that's too on the nose.
Guys,
That's,
really?
that's too, it's too much. You gotta dial it back. There was a lot of argument over whether or not they were actually, like, critical of Isabel Fall, and they were. They didn't, like, I don't think they, like, participated in, like, any of the greater harassment, at least that I have seen, but they were, like, this story should not have been published, it was harmful, kind of take. Yeah, so when people, like, are mad at the helicopter story, they usually try and now deflect their anger or their outrage toward the publisher, Clarkesworld, the, like, online magazine that originally published the story. And, like, that was mostly what they were talking about, being like, it's actually the magazine's fault for not making it more palatable to me.
Why isn't it designed for me?
Yeah, to quote Anna Mardal, why wasn't it made clear from the beginning that the author was a trans woman and that the piece is an owns voice piece rather than a troll? How many trans sensitivity readers from different genders were paid to vet this piece? Because it's none of your fucking business, is number one. Number two, if a cis man wants to write a science fiction story examining his own gender identity, he's allowed to.
Yeah.
That's actually totally fine. And
do that.
the fact that you didn't like it doesn't mean it wasn't trans enough.
Yeah. I really hate this concept of I, a minority, didn't like this thing written by another minority, so it's not the right kind of minority.
It's discrimination.
Yeah.
It's actually homophobia or misogyny or whatever. There's a lot of female characters I don't like. There's a lot of female characters I think are written badly, and I don't think it's always misogyny. It is sometimes, like, to be sure, but not always. Sometimes there's just characters I don't like.
Forget characters. There's a lot of female directors. There's a lot of female writers.
People.
That I'm like, not for me. There are even ones that, like, I know objectively are good at their jobs. They get Oscars or awards or whatever, and I'm like, I just don't get it. Don't get the hype. Whatever. And, like, you know, I move on with my life, because it's not about me, man.
Something not being for you is not the same as the thing being discrimination or harm or whatever. But that's a million years old. That was just so funny, to watch one of the biggest, like, Twitter morality scolds be exposed to being a giant hypocrite. Was nice for me, actually.
What a surprise, in fact.
And I gotta, like, I don't think I kept the screen cap, but it was something along the lines of, like, if you are going to have a chronically online public presence of starting discourse over bullshit, saying things like reading is ableist,
I forgot about that.
you know, having a ooh-woo, gentle pit crew type following, you better be really fucking sure that you earn your income at the kitten hugging factory.
Yeah.
Because there is a difference, I would say. Some people would say there's not, but I think there's a difference between working for, like, let's say Canadian Tire or Starbucks than there is working for a literal weapons manufacturing corporation.
Yeah.
They make bombs. There's no non-violent use for bombs.
No.
Dang. Oh, just I could not write an irony so sweet as this one. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what they're up to now. I could give a fuck. But
I think they imploded their account as well.
I know, but it's been like over half a year, so that's usually how long these things last.
Yeah. There was a resurgence of the sex is unnecessary.
Oh, yeah, that one happens like every 3 weeks, though. Like, there should be no sex whatsoever in fiction because it makes me, an American, uncomfy for some reason. And I don't want to examine why.
I just like the screen cap of the one tweet that I have that named a bunch of different things that had unnecessary sex scenes, but all of them were like very plot important sex scenes, like Pearl, which is about like her being exposed to pornography, if I know correctly. I have not seen the movie, but I read a synopsis, and if I can read a synopsis and be like, oh yeah, sex scenes in that movie are definitely necessary, then somebody didn't watch it. But like, they also have Game of Thrones in this screen cap, and like a lot of people talk about like how much sex there was in Game of Thrones, and just oodles and oodles of sex, and there's really not. There's not that much sex.
There's actually really not that much sex in Game of Thrones. There's a lot of nudity.
There's nudity.
There's a lot of nudity. I can only think of, sitting here right now, there was a lot of actual sex scenes in season 1.
Yes.
And by a lot, I'm thinking of like 2.
Yeah.
2 or 3 that I can think of right now where like the participants are undressed in some way and there is sex happening on screen.
Yeah.
A lot of the sex scenes are clothed because, you know, it takes a long time to get in and out of giant robes and shit. And a lot of the nudity, no sex is happening. They're just, there's a thing.
People are bathing or just hanging around.
People are bathing, or like it is implied that sex has just happened or just about to happen.
Yeah.
Because when they're saying a lot of like weird fantasy names like Valyria and Targaryen, and like the middle audience, the like average audience goer who's not a like turbo nerd, is like their eyes are glazing over and they're not interested anymore. There are some tits that will show up in the background and they like perk right back up and they're paying attention again. They had this thing that they kind of mastered for a while where they would do a lot of exposition with like a naked girl in the room.
Yes. Prostitutes talking, and then you're interested.
Not saying it was like the greatest move, but it's not the same as a sex scene. Well, and the one for me is Game of Thrones is that the main mystery that like kicks off the story is the fact that the king's sons are not actually the king's sons, because the queen has been sleeping around with her brother. So
necessary sex scene.
The inciting incident is someone witnessing that.
Yeah.
And then they try to kill him, a child, because he could blow up give the whole game away. So
the Game of Thrones.
Oh my god. And again, in that sex scene, no one is undressed.
No.
Oh god.
And it's not even very like, they stop very quickly because they notice there's a child in the window.
Seen. I have a theory that it's because Americans don't actually see naked bodies a whole lot, except during sex or in porn. So the only time they ever see another naked human being is like in a sexual situation. And that's just not the case in a lot of the world. Like, if you are from Northern Europe, where there's a lot of saunas, or, like, I know in, like, traditional Korean spas, you just kind of hang out totally naked with your whole family sometimes. Or if you went to a public pool as a kid, or you went to the YMCA, like, you would just get changed with other people, because it's just the human body, man. It's just, they're all ugly, they're all kind of gross in their own way, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just a state of being. But Americans are so scared of, like, nudity, not even, like, sexuality, but nudity at all, that
I think they're the same.
Yeah, the idea of ever being undressed only happens in a sexual circumstance. Weird thing that I found out, actually, is that straight couples often are not hanging out naked in front of each other.
No!
They are only undressed to have sex.
Okay,
yeah.
So there was this, like, video, and it was, like, supposed to be cute. And it was, like...
it was supposed to be cute, but actually ended up being very sad.
It was
One
really
of those
sad,
videos.
but it was, like, showing up without any context naked in front of my husband. And then he just immediately, like, freaks out and is like, hell yeah, sex. And I'm just sitting there like, what? Like, I'm just hanging out naked on my bed because I'm comfortable, man. Like, it's the most comfortable state of my being. I don't like to wear a lot of clothes if I'm not cold, and so I'm just gonna be hanging out naked. And so is Kendra, and who cares? Because that's just, it's our house. Fuck. So it blew my mind watching it, because it was so many people doing this for, like, such a...
It was like a fucking TikTok challenge or something, where you're supposed to, like, walk out in front of your husband or boyfriend without any clothes on, and you're holding the camera, so, like, no one can see you, you're just seeing the reaction of the husband or boyfriend. And it was kind of really deeply sad how rarely these men apparently ever just saw their naked partner, or, I guess, got to have sex at all.
Right?
Because immediately, no matter what they were doing, they, like, stopped and ran over, and it was, like, sad.
Yeah, because, like, man, I can't tell you how many times I've just, like, walked out naked and been like, hey, babe, where'd you put the salt? Yeah. Like, I can't find it. I'm not needing to have sex in that moment. I just want to find where the salt is. Like, it just... It's wild to me. Nudity isn't bad, guys.
No,
just
sex isn't bad either.
No.
It's not unnecessary. It's actually usually, like, a very important emotional connection.
Intimacy is good.
Intimacy is nice. It's nice to see characters experience that in fiction. It can even be hot. It can even get your fucking rocks off a little bit if you're a super freak. And that's not bad.
It's nice to experience yourself sometimes if you want.
Like, it's a human experience, and most, if not all, of our fiction and stories and film is about humans experiencing something. I guess except for the, like, super highbrow concept stuff. Could be about this movie's all about the life of a mushroom on a log.
Well, even then, usually it's a metaphor for something in the human experience.
I guess if you wanted to
this mushroom is really your sense of self.
If you wanted to be an asshole about it, I guess. If you wanted to be a fucking film student about it. But, so, you know, it's actually normal and good to have sex in movies, and rarely is it unnecessary.
Anyway,
I can talk about the romance author that faked her own death because of fucking Twitter harassment. Well, apparently she claims she faked her own death because of Twitter harassment. There's this so, like, romance authors on Twitter have this stupid name for themselves called Romancelandia, which I fucking hate.
Ooh.
It's awful. Like they're a little fight club or something. And because it is a group of authors, they're all super catty to one another and hate each other and secretly talk bad behind one another's backs, like it's fucking Mean Girls and shit. And this is all like people publishing books on, like, the Amazon Kindle marketplace and things. Sort of adjacent to the, like, bad art friend stuff of last year. of, like, authors having mean little social cliques and, like, shitting on one another and conspiring to ruin each other's lives and work and careers. So there was an indie romance author named Susan Meechan. I think it's pronounced Meechan. It's going to be pronounced Meechan for this podcast, how about? Mm-hmm. And she wrote, like, typical stock, like, bad boy romance Kindle fiction. Because apparently, I didn't know this, but it's been, like, apparently a, like, super popular, like, romance trend right now is, like, mob AUs or mafia AUs. Where, like, the fantasy is to be, like, the mistress of a mob boss or something.
Okay.
Like, that's really,
I can get behind that, I
because
guess.
it's like, oh, it's a dangerous bad boy with a lot of money, who's gonna take care of me.
Yeah,
Okay.
I get that.
Okay. That
And
tracks.
he'll kill someone to protect me or whatever.
That is always hot.
But it's, I don't know, it's just, like, a really specific, like, time and place historical setting for that very broad idea of, like, someone loving you so much they would kill to protect you. I don't know why. Maybe it's because they all wear suits and men don't dress nicely nowadays. So
Yes.
seeing a man in a nice tailored suit is
Covered in blood.
is something.
Always hot.
Yeah, that does it for me.
Yeah, this just looks like incredibly normie mom fiction, like mom romance.
Someone's got to write it.
Okay, so here is her, like, about me on the Kindle Marketplace.
Oh no.
I've been an avid reader as far back as I can recall, and okay, this isn't great because her first line is a run-on sentence.
Oh boy.
Okay. I've been an avid reader as far back as I can recall. Period. New sentence. It was a lifeline to transport me from dark moments in life. My preferred genre to read is historical romance. Period. New sentence. I love getting lost with the bad boys who were earls, kings, and such. Okay.
Bad boy king.
Yeah, when I decided to jump into the ring of author, I had no desire writing the average romance like so many others do.
Not like other girls.
Yeah. I wanted to make my leads flawed. Period. New sentence. Does not bode well. It is how I came up with my tagline, quote, author of perfectly flawed romances.
Alright.
There's
Okay.
never a guaranteed HEA, happily ever after, in any of my books. Also, romance authors now have, like, their own dialect and jargon, kind of like fanfic authors, where you can just zero in on, like, the exact trope you want and, like, find it, and you don't have to worry about encountering anything you don't want to encounter, which has pros and cons as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I think it's good to come across unexpected things in literature and media, but whatever, that's an argument for another day. So yes, there's never a guaranteed happily ever after in any of my books, but they are packed full of emotions and love nevertheless. I do warn if it's not a fairy tale ending, I do warn if it's not a fairy tale ending for the ones who love the sweet reads. I'm a wife, mom, meme, and friend. Okay.
Meme?
Yeah, meme. Like, an internet meme.
At least you're proud of that.
I live in the southeastern corner of Tennessee with my husband of 24 years with our 2 cats and our 4 snakes.
Okay.
If you don't see me running around online, then I'm normally off creating a world for others to enjoy. If you'd like to stalk me on any social media outlet, I'm on them all. I love hearing from readers, even if it is to tell me they hated the books they just finished.
Same. Tell me how much
No
you
such
hate me.
thing. No such thing as bad engagement. So yeah, like, there's this book called His Wicked Way,
Ooh,
and there's a scowling man on the cover with a suit on.
Is he
I'm
hot?
intrigued.
Well, he's kind of like looking away from the camera, so you can't really see. I mean, he's obviously very handsome. And this is the blurb that's provided on Amazon. Taking my seat as head of the family at 20 was never the plan. But as luck would have it, my father was killed, leaving me to take care of our family. Getting married had never been part of my plan, no matter what my father had expected of me.
Oh boy.
Meeting my contract wife put me on the fast track of finding any loophole to get out of the deal, even if it was to destroy her reputation for life. So it's like an arranged marriage kind of romance thing. Just not in fan fiction. Just in a real, well, real, giant air quotes, original fiction.
Contract wife.
Yeah, that's exactly what it seems to be. So yeah, oh god, this is one of the Mafia ones! No, this is one of the Mafia ones. Yeah. In a world where Mafia families marry to build power and not love. So I guess it's just like, it's kind of like a historical, like, arranged marriage of, like, you know, European nobles or whatever, except we get to exist in a time with electric lighting and phones and stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's the sort of stuff she wrote. I have not read any of it, obviously. It does not appear to be very good. I'm going to state that's my snap judgment without having actually read a single word of her prose. But if it's for you, it's for you, and I'm not going to tell you that this is gross or cringe or anything. If this is the shit you love, then I'm so happy for you. Yeah. And apparently people did love it. Like, some people loved it because she had like a little fan group called The Ward, like W-A-R-D, Ward. Where like she and I guess her like closest readers and writers hung out, shot the shit, talked about their opinions on her writing, where she would share updates and things like that. It's a little Facebook group.
I love that for her.
So, apparently, 2 years ago, roughly, it was announced that Susan Meachin had taken her own life due to being bullied mercilessly by other romance authors online, through Twitter, through Facebook, or whatever. And she had pre-existing bipolar disorder, and she had, in the end, taken her own life due to this abuse that she could not withstand. A month before her alleged death, the romance novelist posted on Facebook talking about how, like, she couldn't take how mean, like, the industry was to authors, how mean authors were to each other, like, how shitty and backstabbing everyone was, doing something that is, like, essentially a hobby. Like, you do make some money, I guess, if you sell books on Amazon Kindle Marketplace, but, like, it's not great. You can't pay your bills with that unless you're, like, unless you're that fucking Harry Styles self-insert fic that got turned into a movie or whatever. And so then she was like, I am leaving, I'm not going to be doing this anymore, like, I'm retiring, quote unquote. And her final book was going to be published. And then it was, like, announced that she is dead. And it wasn't, like, confirmed to be a suicide right away. But she died, but we're still going to post her last finished book. And it's now available on Amazon for $3 or whatever. And people were like, oh my god, like, that's so terrible. Like, we're sorry to hear that. There were, like, GoFundMes set up to cover her funeral expenses and things like that.
Oh my god.
Yeah. The weird thing for me is how long this went on. So, like, which was, so in case it wasn't obvious, the author was in fact not dead, had not taken her own life. Apparently her mental health was very affected by the online romance-landia space of fucking catty people who just shit-talk one another like it's a high school lunchroom. And it turns out that she had been, like, running her Facebook group, The Ward, through a burner account, blah, blah, blah. And then she actually did stay offline under her real name for, like, 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah. And then in early January, it was revealed that she is, in fact, not dead at all. She apparently was, like, very affected by the hostility of the online community, giant fucking ironic air quotes, and was planning to quit, I guess, like quit writing, and decided it would be more dramatic if she faked her own death or something. And now people are like, this was a ploy to sell books, this was a ploy to do bogus fundraisers and get money. I don't know if any legal action has been taken yet, maybe they will. And so now there's drama about, like, who was in on it and who wasn't, like, who stood to gain financially and who didn't. Oh yeah, she did an interview with the New York Times, apparently, like Susan Meachin, where she attributes this decision to her, like, bipolar diagnosis. I don't know, can't speak to that.
I, as a bipolar person, don't think I'm gonna fake my death anytime soon.
I don't know. Well, here's a quote from the New York Times interview where she talks about being chronically online with a mental illness. I would log on and get in, and at some point in the day, my two worlds would collide, and it would be hard to differentiate the book world from the real world. It was like they would sandwich together.
Okay.
And, like, having been on the, like, outskirts of book Twitter, I get that. It seems like an incredibly mean, hostile place, and I wouldn't want anything to do with it. And apparently her husband started to notice, I guess what he thought was, like, his wife's kooky hobby, was starting to, like, affect her mood in real life, because she was fighting with nobodies on Twitter about whose romance book was most problematic or something. So apparently, according to what she says in this New York Times interview, it was he that instructed their 22-year-old daughter to fake her death on the Facebook group.
Oh.
Like, yeah, so it might have been something that she didn't have a part in, or, like, couldn't undo without being like, hey, I'm not dead. My family just wanted you all to think I was, which is already, like, revealing and maybe not something you want to put on the fucking internet. Apparently she had suicidal, like, ideation before, or suicide attempts before. Again, I don't know. I don't know this woman, but that's just what she claims. So, yeah, the long and the short of it is that an author was thought to have been bullied to suicide, wasn't, and is now back, maybe made some money off some GoFundMes and some dramatic book sales when it's like, oh, this is the last book she wrote before the romance Landias bullied her to take her own life. So, you know, maybe that was a bump in sales. I bet you now she's had an incredible bump in sales.
Yeah.
That must be nice. And then, like, once it was thought that she had taken her own life, other authors were pointing at other authors and being like, you bullied her to death or something, because, you know, these people only want drama. They don't actually want to read or write fucking books. So that's kind of wild. I can't think of one where, like, someone has faked their own death and then come back and try to just carry on like nothing happened.
Don't mind me.
Well, I mean, I guess carry on. She did do a fucking interview with the New York Times, so...
Still, that's wild. That's... I don't know that I'd have the balls to come back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, or at least I'd have a different name, but, you know, it's... In a market so saturated with mediocre romance writing, it's hard to build up a devoted audience.
Yeah.
And it seems like she already had that.
Well, I hope she's doing well.
Yeah, I hope she's doing well. Let's say that.
Yeah. I'm gonna be charitable about it. That's New Bliss. New Bliss is charitable. Let's see how long that lasts.
This is what she posted to her Facebook group after supposedly being dead for 2 years. I debated on how to do this a million times and still am not, well, God, she doesn't really write very well is the concerning thing for me. Every bit of writing that I've read from her, either from her official author bio or social media posts, not really great sentence structure or punctuation. I debated on how to do this a million times and still not sure it's right or not.
Okay.
That's what she's fucking written. There's going to be tons of questions and a lot of people leaving the group, I'd guess. But my family did what they thought was best for me and I can't fault them for it. I almost died again at my own hand, and they had to go through all that hell again. Returning to the ward doesn't mean much, but I am in a good place now, and I am hoping to write again. Let the fun begin.
Oh.
Oh. Oh.
It's a weird way to end that.
Yeah,
Sentence.
that's fine.
Yeah, it seems a little trolly.
Yeah, okay.
Alright.
You do you, I guess.
That's just some... That's some real petty internet drama. That's the kind I like. When it's just...
Oh no, that's a classic.
Folks hoisted by their own petard. My favorite kind of irony.
Let's see. New media. We could talk about the Teen Wolf movie.
Has there been any motion on that?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, it's come out.
Oh, it has? Is it any good?
I haven't watched it, but it has a 40% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it is so bad that people are sending Tyler Hoechlin death threats.
He didn't write it! It's not his fault!
He was a co-producer, though.
Was he even in it?
I mean,
though?
that doesn't make him... Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, like, spoiler alert, if you're gonna watch the Teen Wolf movie, take your headphones off for 5 seconds, children. He dies.
Oh.
Ooh.
Like, for real,
Yeah.
for real?
I mean,
probably not.
everybody comes back, except for Styles.
Styles dead?
But,
He just didn't show up.
Oh,
well-
okay. Sorry.
yeah, they hardcore write him out of the show, apparently. I'm gonna watch it and get real drunk while watching it, and then come back and give you guys a review.
That actually sounds fun. Can I join you in
They
that?
have to make up a reason
Yes.
why the guy whose career is taken off and the fan favorite doesn't appear in our TV movie.
Yeah, that's always a great
Yep.
sign.
Apparently he's only mentioned once.
Wow.
It's like when they killed Meryl Streep in Mamma Mia 2. Couldn't afford ya!
Let's see here. Justin Roiland was fired from Rick and Morty
Yes!
For fucking domestic abuse.
Yeah,
for
like
domestic abuse.
bad
That's
domestic
awful.
abuse.
And like
Yeah.
he is the voice of both Rick and Morty, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, but apparently everybody was talking about how he's also a writer, and like, so the writing's going to struggle, but I looked it up, and he's really not anymore. They had already kind of phased him out of that before, so, and everybody can fucking do those voices now, so.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see them change the voices, and I'm sure they'll make some, nihilistic joke about it in the show,
Probably.
and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Because Adult Swim wants their money to keep flowing out that cash cow, baby.
Yeah, it's like the biggest show, the biggest original series they've ever had.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
they're not going to let fucking anything stand in their way.
Which good on them. Because,
Yeah.
Yes, also don't hire domestic abusers.
Yeah, probably shouldn't do that, but,
Well, I mean,
they didn't know at the time,
I
probably.
would assume. I don't know. I've actually not, read what he's accused of, but it can't have been good.
It was, bad, right? Like, he almost killed someone. Yeah.
Jesus.
Like, he pulled a Sean Penn on that.
And then we have The Last of Us, which is a lot of good, a lot of drama,
So perfect.
a lot of good drama.
I actually haven't heard anyone not liking it, so
Well, except for this last episode.
Lucky.
I haven't seen that either.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though.
I don't
seen it.
fucking, again, who's got the fucking time to hang out with people who just
No.
hate?
I've been watching just because I follow some Last of Us accounts now, and you can't follow a Last of Us account without seeing some neckbeard out there being mad about this exact frame was different from that frame in the video game.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, though. But we watched some really cute, reaction videos, because, we just like doing that. And there's this really cute couple of, the guy who clearly plays the game and the girl who never did but wanted to watch the show, I guess. And just every time he keeps leaning over and he's like, that's in the game. That's her real name. That's in the game. And it was just so cute because you could see she just has this long-suffering smile on her face. she finds it endearing in this really kind of exasperated way. But it was so cute because, like, the entire time we were watching their like reactions, I was thinking about how if I wasn't the one actually who watches my partner play that game, like, I don't play it because I don't play combat games because I panic, but I like watching it like a movie I can interact with. But, like, all the scenes that were, like, shot for shot, I was like, oh, that was in it. But, like, I didn't have anybody to tell that to because Kendra knows.
Yeah, I was like, especially when the first episode came out, I was very much just like, it's like the game. Like, I didn't have anything else to say, really. Like, and it was good, and I liked it, and I'm liking it so far. I like the changes that they've made. I like the actors. I like the leads a whole lot. Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey.
She is so cute.
They're both killing it. I can't wait to see Bella Ramsey get to do, like, because right now she's kind of distant from Joel, who Pedro Pascal plays, and the main story is them growing closer as they journey through this post-apocalyptic wasteland. So right now she hasn't had like super like emotional moments yet, because those are in store for young Ellie. So I am excited to see her get to do those like meatier, more emotional scenes, because so far she's been absolutely killing it. Pedro Pascal has been killing it. I don't remember his fucking name.
Who? Which person?
Bill.
Nick Offerman.
Nick Offerman, thank you. Yeah, just watched the episode with Nick Offerman as Bill, which was a little different from how it happens in the game. Spoilers, I guess.
So emotional.
But it was great, and I loved it. It takes a lot of what is only implied in the game, and the bulk of the episode is a long extended flashback scene that is really only implied like very briefly in the game. And it was a fucking bummer. And
Yeah.
I think the best comparison to make with The Last of Us is Cormac McCarthy's The Road, and then the film version of The Road that came out in 2009. That is also set in the aftermath of some like unknown apocalypse, where there is a man and his son, and the son was like very young, like doesn't remember a time before the apocalypse, like the way the world is now. And they're just trying mightily to survive one day to the next. And the real enemy at the end of the day, like in Cormac McCarthy's novel and in the movie version, there's no monsters or anything. There's no zombies, and there's no, like, I guess there's like no threat except for other people. And kind of similarly in The Last of Us, there are zombies and there are monsters, but the real threat is what people will do to each other when they feel threatened or they feel like they have to do something to survive. And in The Road, in the novel and in the movie, in the film, the worst thing that can happen is that our leads could meet other survivors, because we don't know what their intentions are and what they might do to us, because some of them are just packs of roving cannibals, and they will just hunt you down for meat. And some of them might not kill and eat you, but they'll steal from you, and they'll steal your food and your clothes, and they will leave you to freeze to death. And sort of very similar, I think. The main theme of The Last of Us is not zombies are monsters, it's that people are monsters. And even in the face of our own extinction, we will keep killing each other because we don't know how to do anything else.
Because we don't want it to be us.
Yeah. Because I'd rather kill you than you kill me.
Yeah.
And I am excited, without spoiling too much, those parts of The Last of Us are coming. Like, they have established that zombies are scary now. But establishing that people are scary is coming. It's in the pipe. So I am excited for those moments, and a little worried because I came real close to crying at tonight's episode, and I don't cry easy. So I feel like I might by the end of this season. It just got renewed for season 2, which I'm glad about.
Yep.
I'm curious. I don't know if this first season is going to be like the entire first game.
That's my understanding.
Okay.
Because everything I've seen them say online is that season 2 will be the second game and only part of it. Because the second game is too much story.
Okay.
For one season.
That's fair. Yeah.
See, I don't know. I think that would be fine, but also in the, like, material that I've seen released, I've only really seen stuff up to, like, Daniel and, like, Daniel's camp be filmed. I haven't seen anything about Salt Lake. I haven't seen anything about the Firefly Hospital. So...
Mm-hmm. Well, there's one shot in one trailer, and if you paid me $1 million, I doubt I'd find it again, where I'm like, is that the hospital? Mm-hmm. Or am I just supposed to think that's the hospital?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm very much on the fence with you on that one.
I feel like you could absolutely do the whole game in, like, the 9 episodes or whatever they have for the first season. I'd be kind of sad if they then immediately did the time skip to the second game, but I wouldn't hate it. Like, I would just want more time.
I want more time. Yeah. I would like
a whole season 2 where they're just dicking around in Jackson, Wyoming.
Yeah.
Thank you, please.
Or even just, like, because I'm actually a little disappointed to know that they're doing the whole first game in one season, because my favorite interaction is coming up where they meet a couple of brothers that are trying to survive, and they're my favorites, and I love them so much. And I was like, oh man, in the show we can have like several episodes with them. We can actually have like a story happen. And now I'm like, no, probably not. Probably not for very long, actually.
Well, and I mean, don't hold me to that. It's just what I think I've seen.
No, I know, but like
discussed.
Me too.
I think if I had final say, I would end it probably after their encounter with Daniel.
Yeah.
They go back to Jackson, and then maybe season 2 is going to the hospital. I don't know.
Yeah, Daniel'd be a good place to stop.
10 seasons of them just hanging out in Jackson being bros. And then we could do game 2. That'll be fine.
No, I was very happy with Nick Offerman's
that was great casting.
Episode. Mm-hmm. I was very impressed with his acting. He was very vulnerable in some scenes in a way that I've never seen him be before. And I was invited over to a friend of mine's who is a queer couple, and they invited another queer couple over. So it's just a room of queer people all watching this episode, crying legit human tears.
Yeah, same.
During this episode. And I didn't care that it changed. I really didn't. Like, I know that people are sad for the missed bickering and whatnot between Bill and Ellie, but I was happy with the story that we got.
Yes, I am one of those people who's sad, but I don't dislike the change that they made. Just
yeah.
am missing the thing that I'm familiar with, but I also like this new thing that you've given me.
Yeah, I like that scene a lot in the game, but I like the change that they made for the show. And I've always been like for example, I was really into Lord of the Flies when I was like middle school, high school age, and in 1990, I think, they made a movie about it, and the movie was very different than the book, but I very much enjoyed it too. I just was like, it's different. It's a different Lord of the Flies. There's the book and the old movie, which are more or less the same story, and then there's this Lord of the Flies, which is different, but it's also good. And, like, I've noticed that a lot of people don't do that in fandom.
No, I hate things that are different. If it's not exactly like what I expected, it's bad.
And, like, I will say, I'm the kind of person that doesn't like a lot of change, but when it comes to my media, if I've seen it before, change doesn't have to be bad. Change can be good and nice. And, like, I don't really need the exact same story that I watched my girlfriend play to be acted by actors and not my girlfriend, who's better at the game than I have realized most people who are watching this show.
Yeah. Turns out, like, all the memes of being like, oh, look how much, like, look how bad they are at taking on 2 clickers or something. Turns out I'm really fucking good at this game, and I didn't know that, because maybe it's because I've played it 100 times, but I could do it in my sleep now.
Yeah, but, like, I don't mind it being different. I like it. I like little changes that are made. I like the casting changes that they did. I know that a lot of racists were really up their own ass about that when it was, like, announced even, but, like, oh my god, that reminds me, the little girl who plays Sarah, I want her to be so famous. She was so cute.
She's so cute.
She was so cute and she had, like, great delivery on all of her lines. Like, she was such a little sass master. I'm really sad that she's, like, not a main character that we get to see a lot. Because of that. Like, she might show up a few times in a couple flashbacks or something, but I thought she was great, and I hope to see her in other stuff, because she is just so freaking cute.
I just about died when they were in Austin. Because, you know, first off, nothing filmed in Austin looks like Austin. I'm saying this as somebody who's spent my entire life in Austin, but it actually wasn't bad.
No,
I thought
of
it
all
was like
the
Austin.
things.
Yeah.
Of all the things I've ever seen set in Austin, it looked like Austin. And my favorite part from the beginning of The Last of Us is when you're driving away from your house and you reach that crossroads with the sign that says Austin and San Marcos.
Yeah.
And they included it.
I know.
It was such a stupid detail to be so excited about.
Yeah, but
I, like, screamed.
We're from Central Texas, so we had that moment where we're both like, I've been there, I've been right at that sign.
I've been there where the zombies are.
Yay! I live in Joel's house.
That's my house.
Yeah.
Oh, and Big Head being in there.
Freaked me out. I was so excited.
What's that actor's name?
I don't remember Big Head's name.
No. John
Hannah.
Yeah, from The Mummy. That's where Kelsey knows him from.
John Hannah, being older, flipped my shit. I had totally forgotten that time marches on
20
for
years?
everyone.
20 years have happened between The Mummy and now.
He's done aging. He looks the way he's gonna look for the rest of his life. And then all of a sudden, he didn't, and I kind of got upset. Because I don't like.
It's also possible.
He looks good, though.
It's also possible they just styled him to appear older.
Yes, that is possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Big Head being like Big Head from Silicon Valley being like a serious talk show host in the first episode's cold open really threw me for a loop, because we just watched Silicon Valley for the first time recently, so it was weird to see the weird goofy character from that series be like serious and normal for exactly one scene.
Yeah. I also, that's another thing I wanted to talk about. I'm fucking loving those cold opens. I'm very sad that we didn't have one for this episode. This last one.
Those cold opens are great.
I hope that we do have more of them. I understand if we can't do it for every episode, and I know that a lot of shows, like, don't always have a cold open, but sometimes do, blah, blah, blah. But I really like the world building that's involved in it. I think it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. It's a good way to explain information you get through flyers and
The environments
notes
of
and
the
stuff that
game.
you pick up.
Yeah.
Environment gaming, where you're like picking up shit. And,
You're picking up letters and you're seeing like signs and
Yeah. Which is great for a video game because it involves you. Like,
it rewards your exploration of the setting. Yeah.
like it's that's another thing that I find very interesting is that like the change in media, because a video game wants you to like find storytelling elements, but like it's not very visually exciting to watch a man read a letter. So like so they want to show it in a different way, and I'm always really fascinated with how when there's an adaptation to film, I'm always interested to see the way things are done, and so I'm really liking the cold opens. I think that's cool. I hope they continue doing that.
Yeah. I'm excited to see where it goes. But yeah, did you guys have anything else, or did we talk about the thing?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm pretty sure we talked about the thing. We talked about several things.
We talked about a little everything.
Yeah. I mean, we were gone for 7 months. Fucking
Yeah.
had a lot to talk about.
Yeah. So consider this, I don't know, season 2.
sure.
How was everyone's summer break?
Do you guys have a happy?
The Last of Us television series, for one. I'm really enjoying that. That's it. That's really the thing I'm doing right now.
No.
I'm still into Stranger Things.
Yes, also, we watched season 4 of Stranger Things, like 4 months later than everyone else, but we can talk about that later, maybe. That could be its own episode.
I'm still watching it.
Right.
Like, I've watched it 8 months later than everybody else. Let's see. Do I have a happy that isn't The Last of Us? Because I'm pretty sure my happy's also The Last of Us.
You got a new tattoo, didn't you?
I did get a new tattoo. Thank you. I got a bearded lady on my thigh.
Aww.
Her name is Lucille.
Yes!
I let Kelty name her.
Yeah! She looked like a Lucille, man. I don't know. I like it. I think it's a really cute tattoo, and I think it fucking suits you. It's just very cute.
Thanks. But yeah, until next time, thanks for joining us, y'all. I have forgotten how I closed this show. I will re-listen to an older episode to make it cohesive again.
I mean,
Put
it's
it in.
basically
But
that.
for
yeah.
this week. You can find us on social media, on Twitter, at Blissfully Show. And I post links to our YouTube video there. I feel like I'm almost muscle memory, like, forcing my way through this. I think that's it.
That's more or less it.
Social media, thank you very much. Let us know if you guys have any suggestions for future episodes. We'd really appreciate it. And we love hearing from y'all.
Sorry, we were gone so long.
Yeah, we were gone, but we're back and we're excited. Thanks for waiting. Okay, bye.
Bye!
Bye-bye.
That's confusing, because, see...
Why? Why are you entertaining this like it's a real point?
Good point. Alright, continue, actually.